Good morning, everyone. If I sound a little bit groggy in this intro, then it is because I just woke up. For today's video, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. As you may have already guessed from the title of the video, then I will be doing a week in my bullet journal. Sorry if you guys hear a little bit of noise in the background. My husband is currently in the kitchen making some breakfast and listening to a podcast, so please don't mind that. This morning, then, it is Saturday, August 17th, so I am actually going to be setting up my weekly spread for next week, and then I will just touch base with you again every day and just show you how I use my bullet journal throughout the week. So I hope that you guys enjoy this video and find it helpful and informative. So for those of you who are new to my channel, then I am currently using a B5 sized Archer and Olive dotted journal for my bullet journal for this year. So let's go ahead and just flip over to next week's spread. So I already have this week of the 18th through the 24th just roughly sketched out just so that I know where all my boxes need to be. And now I'm just going to go in and actually draw in the boxes. Just a little bit of background if you're unfamiliar with my bullet journal system, then every month I start off with a cover page, my monthly spread along with a monthly challenge box and a brain dump box. The next page, then I have my doodles page here, and this page then I just draw a little doodle of a part of my day that basically just sums up that day for me. Then I have a monthly favorites box that I just slowly fill out throughout the month, and then I have a monthly memories box where I print out pictures off of my phone onto a Bluetooth printer, and then I just go ahead and paste the images here at the end of the month. Next, then it just leads right on into all of my weekly spreads. So this was the first week of August, second week of August, and then this is the upcoming week, which I will go ahead and start creating right now. So depending on my mood for when I'm setting up my weekly spreads, I'll either use my Sakura Pigma Microns to outline the boxes with the black ink, or sometimes I'll switch it up with some markers, or I'll use my watercolors. For the first week of August, then I used my Tombows to create the boxes. The second week I used my watercolors. For this third week, I think I might switch back to markers. I think I might use my Zebra Mildliners instead. Alright, so now that I have all of my boxes outlined, I'm just going to take a Sakura Pigma Micron and just label all of the boxes. I'm done labeling and outlining all of my boxes, I'll just go ahead and briefly go over my layout for you. So up here then, I like to just have a box indicating what month we're in and also what week in the year that we're in. And then I have just a little monthly calendar here, and then I like to highlight the current week. And then over here I have 3 different trackers. So I have a habit tracker, a weight tracker, and a mood tracker. In the middle section here, then I have my daily boxes. So in the largest rectangle on the left hand side of each box, then that's where I usually like to write my tasks, appointments if I'm going somewhere, just random tasks and chores, errands throughout the day. And then for the top left boxes, then that's where I like to write down what specific workout I did and also what I ate that day. The box below indicates my work schedule. So I have a full-time job, so I like to just keep track of my schedule for that day, and also if I have any meetings or if I'll be going to the office. The top right box, then that will just indicate what I watched that day as well as any games that I played. So the bottom right box, then that'll just consist of what I listened to that day, typically music, and then also anything that I read that day. So typically I would have like a daily devotion written in here as well. That's basically just a brief summary of how I use my daily boxes, and as we go through the week, you'll get a better idea of how I utilize each box. If it's kind of just a lot of information right now without any visuals, then hopefully throughout the week, then you'll get a better idea of how I use it. Then down here, I just have a little notes section. That's kind of like another brain dump area, but more so having to do with this week rather than the one in the beginning that has to do with the month. And then over here, then I have my finance or expense trackers. So I have one for my personal account, my joint account with my husband, and then a credit card usage one. The reason why I leave this one blank is because the goal is to not use my credit card at all. And as a reward, then at the end of the week, if I didn't use it, then I'll be able to fill it in with some sort of doodle or artwork. So just as an example, something like this down here, where I kind of just painted another ocean wave painting. Usually I'll try and have it relate to the theme of the month, whatever painting or drawing I do in the credit box. So just as a reward and just to add a little bit of artwork and differentiation throughout my weekly spreads. I typically like to set up my weekly spreads before the week actually starts, and so that's why I'm setting this up on Saturday the 17th. At this point, I'll just go ahead and flip over to the monthly page and take my pen here in the pen loop. This is the Uniball Signo DX gel pen in the 0.28 size. And then I'll just take a look at the current week. And then I'll just go ahead and add these to the actual daily boxes. So taking a look here, as you can see, I have a note to film week in Bujo, which is currently what I'm working on. So I'll go ahead and just flip back to the weekly spread, and then I'm basically just gonna copy that down for every day of the week so that I can remember to film that every day. Alright, so now that I have that written down for every day of the week, I'll just go ahead and flip back over and see what the next thing would be to add. On Monday the 19th, then we have an appointment with the bad guys at 1 p.m. So I'll go ahead and just add that to Monday. Now I'll go ahead and just flip back to the monthly spread. And then here, then I also like to indicate what videos are coming out that day. I have my drawing prompt number 8 coming out on the 20th. So for that, then I like to add that to the bottom of this work box here. And then we'll go ahead and flip back over to the monthly spread. Wednesday, then we have a bill coming out. So I'll go ahead and add that. And then my husband also has a meeting out of town, so for my tasks and whatnot that I like to use just a little dash or hyphen. For bills, I like to add a hollow box, and then for travel, then I like to add an arrow. So he'll be leaving for that in the afternoon. going back to the monthly page, then we also have another bill, and then that's also when Taylor comes home. So moving on to Thursday, I'll add another hollow box for that bill, and then Taylor comes home in the evening. So it looks like that's it for that week, so I'll go ahead and just come back to the weekly spread here. And then there are a couple things that I don't note on the monthly spreads just because I know that they happen every week. So I'll go ahead and add those here as well. For instance, I'll add my work schedule first. So every day then it's 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. And for work then I just like to use a hollow circle to mark work-related tasks. I believe this day then we also have a meeting, so I'll go ahead and just add that here as well. And then I also remembered that I have another meeting on Tuesday at 9 a.m. Another thing that happens every week would be on Tuesdays, then my sister and I talk at 6:30 p.m. And then for Wednesday, then I have game night with my sister and her husband at about 6:40 p.m. And then my husband and I usually have date nights on Fridays, so I'll go ahead and just add that here. For date nights or anniversaries, then I like to just indicate it using a little heart. So yeah, at this point then I basically just try and think of anything else that I would like to add as tasks to do during the week. So I know for sure on Monday, then I will need to edit my journaling video. And then I also have an Archer and Olive package that should be arriving that day. Also, another thing to note for Monday for work is invoicing, so I'll need to remember that. Otherwise, I think that's pretty much it for everything that I can think of for today. As we go throughout the week, then I'll obviously add more stuff to this. Typically with house chores, I kind of just wait how the week goes and then I'll add them to a specific day during that week to do those chores. But I think for now, I'm just going to leave this as is. So that's pretty much it for today. And I'll go ahead and just catch back up with you guys tomorrow. Hey everyone! Currently it is Sunday afternoon. I've had kind of a busy morning so far, so I'm finally getting a chance to sit down and record this part of the video for you. Alright, so I'll just go ahead and open up my bullet journal here. I'll flip over to the monthly spread for August. And the order in which I like to fill out my bullet journal on a day-to-day basis is I'll go ahead and just flip to this first monthly page and then I'll just take a look at the monthly challenge, which is currently no spending. Basically what I do every day, I typically look at my bullet journal in the mornings or early afternoons, so I basically just finish filling it in for the previous day and also just add what I've done so far for today and also what I will be doing. So for the monthly challenge, then I am just taking a look at Saturday the 17th and also today, Sunday the 18th. So yesterday I did spend a little bit of money, so I will leave that spot blank. But for today, then I did not spend money and I don't plan on spending any money, so I'll go ahead and just cross that out to indicate that I did not spend that day. So that's basically what I do for this page, and then I'll go ahead and just flip it over to the monthly doodles page. And then for the monthly doodles, then I like to wait until the following day to draw the doodle for the previous day, and that way it just allows me the entire day to reflect back on once that day is actually over, and that way I can just decide on a specific moment from the previous day and actually doodle that in. There have been times in the past where I'll go ahead and complete my doodle the day of, and then it turns out that there's an even better memory or something that I would have preferred to remember the day with later after I had already completed the doodle. So that's why I do it the day after. So for today, Sunday, then I am only going to be completing Saturday the 17th's daily doodle. So I will go ahead and just sketch that out quickly with my mechanical pencil. So yesterday was a very lovely day. My husband and I got to go out on my in-laws' pontoon with them, which was so much fun. And this time they brought their golden retriever on the boat with us, so that was a lot of fun. Her name's Lucy, and she's incredibly sweet. She's just a little marshmallow and she just loves everyone and everything. So it was really fun having her on. So now that I have a rough sketch of my daily doodle done, I'm just taking my Sakura Pigma Micron in the 005 size. It's a very, very thin size, and I'm just going to go over the pencil sketch and just ink it in. So I've been doing these daily doodles for almost as long as I've been bullet journaling. There was only a period of 6 months where I was not doodling, and that was when I just first started bullet journaling. But I really love adding these daily doodles. They're probably my favorite thing to do every day, just because I've always really loved drawing, and I've always had the tendency to just doodle on stuff. And to be able to actually see my life over the span of several years in little pictures and little doodles that I've done, then it's just a lot more meaningful like that to me. There's not always an opportunity for you to have a camera and take a picture of everything, so I think just having another form of capturing visual memories like this just means a lot to me. But I do acknowledge that this is a little more time consuming than some people would prefer, and not necessarily having to do with maybe what people would consider bullet journaling to be, and that's totally fine. Whatever you want to incorporate in your bullet journal is perfectly fine, as long as it works for you. Alright, so now that I've drawn out my daily doodle, then I'm just taking my kneaded eraser and I'm just going to erase the pencil marks. Alright, now that my daily doodle for yesterday is complete, then I'm just going to flip over to the previous weekly spread because I would like to finish filling out for Saturday. So for the weekly spreads, then I like to go from left to right. So I prefer to start off with my trackers on the left-hand side here. For Saturday, then I did do my morning routine. I also did my night routine. I took my vitamins, and that was all that I did for Saturday in terms of my habits. Then moving on to weight, then I believe I was at 157. So there is that. And then for my mood, then I'll go ahead and just add that I was also very happy later in the day. So sometimes I pretty much just have like a consistent mood throughout the day. If I end up having like multiple moods throughout that day, then I will add 2 different dots to indicate like what I felt first and then what I felt last. So that's why it's kind of all over the place sometimes. Moving on to the actual box for Saturday, I just wrote down a couple of things. I started filming the intro to this video, which you've already seen by now. I ended up planting the irises, water garden, and we went on the pontoon with my in-laws and their dog. And then when we got back, then we grilled pork chops and veggies. And then when we came home, then I baked zucchini cookies. So I believe that was about it for things that we did that day. Now I'll go ahead and just start filling out these little boxes to the right here. So for lunch, then I ended up just finishing a smoothie from the previous day. Then for supper, then I had a pork chop and veggies. When we got home, then I ended up watching a couple episodes of Everybody Loves Raymond. I did not work that day, and then I also did not upload a video that day, so I typically just leave this box blank for Saturdays and Sundays. And then for this box here, for the bottom right-hand side, in terms of music, then we ended up listening to Brent Cobb, Willie Nelson, and Waylon Jennings. And then we did not do a devotion that day, otherwise I would have written that at the little bottom part right here, just like how I did up here for the previous days. But that's about it for Saturday. And then the last thing that I would need to do for this spread in order to finish it up would just be to actually do a little painting here for my credit box. So similar to the previous week, then I did not spend anything, so I was able to do this little painting. So I think I'll go ahead and just do something similar to that for this box here. So I'm just going in with a water brush. I believe this was from a Sakura Koi watercolor set. It is very old. And I'm also taking my St. Petersburg White Nights watercolor palette to use the watercolors from. But I'm just going to be making very loose and light wavy lines to indicate the waves. Then I'll just go in and kind of fill in some more of the blank spaces. Now I'm just taking a deeper navy blue and just kind of adding it to like the bottom half of these larger lines just to add some definition in shadows. Alright, so now that those are mostly dry, then I'm just adding a light wash of some lighter blues just to some of the blank spaces, but I'm also still just keeping quite a bit of blank space for some highlights. Alright, so now that that layer is mostly dry now as well, I'm just going in with a light wash of orange. Again, just very loosely brushing it on. Some parts overlaying the blue and other parts right on top of the white spots. So go ahead and just add a little bit more paint, just add a little bit more contrast and dimension. Alright, now that that is mostly dry, I'm just adding one more layer of paint. This time I'm just adding a very light wash of a pink just to add some more color variation. Now that that's dry, I'm just taking my white Uniball Signo gel pen and just going over with some very loose squiggly lines just to add a little bit of highlights to the painting. I'm also just going in and stippling a few dots just to kind of give it like that glistening watery effect. Alright, so now that the credit box is all painted in, then this weekly spread is completely finished. So now I can actually go over and start on this new weekly spread for today. And then just taking my black Uniball Signo DX gel pen, then I'm just going to start filling in my trackers over here. So for Sunday, then I did work out, did my morning routine. I expect to do my night routine and I will take my vitamins, but typically with that stuff, since that's kind of one of the last things that I do during the day, then I like to wait to document it until I have for sure done those things. So I will go ahead and just leave those blank until tomorrow. Then I'll just come back and confirm that I did do those things. But I know I won't be spending money today. So then in terms of my weight, then I weighed 157 earlier, and then I'll also just track my mood. So I've been in a very good mood today, so I'll go ahead and just add a little dot there as well. Now moving on to the actual daily box for Sunday. Then today we watered the garden and roses with Miracle-Gro. I also took Homer and Dion out on their harnesses into the backyard. Homer and Dion are my two cats, so that was a lot of fun. They were very well behaved. And then what else? We went to go visit my in-laws again, picked up creamer, and picked up fishing gear. And sorry if I'm writing this like in different tenses. Usually I try to write it in present tense, but as I'm talking then I'm saying it in past tense, so then it influences me to write it in past tense. So I'm sorry if the tenses are just all over the place. We will also grill some steaks and spare ribs. I think that's about it. I think our plan for tonight is just to grill food and just make supper and just relax. We haven't decided on what we are going to watch. That's basically it for tasks. Now I'll go ahead and move on over to these little squares over here. So for the workout, then we lifted weights, and then I had a smoothie, and I expect to have something for supper, but I'll just save it until tomorrow. I'm just going to leave this work box blank again. For this top box, I haven't watched anything today, so I'll leave that blank until tomorrow as well. In terms of music, then we listened to Colin Stoff and Morgan Wallen today. And then we also did our daily devotional. Alright, so that is about it for Sunday. Typically Sundays, I feel like I don't really have much going on, and so I don't have too much listed on here. But yeah, that's basically it for today. I'll go ahead and just talk to you guys again tomorrow, and hopefully I'll have more to talk about and report on. So see you guys then. Good morning, everyone. Today is Monday, August 19th. So I will go ahead and just share with you what I've done so far this morning and what I have planned for the rest of the day. So let's go ahead and crack open my bullet journal here. Alright, so I'm just going to start off with my daily doodles page. I need to complete one for yesterday, Sunday the 18th, so let's go ahead and do that quick. So yesterday was quite the relaxing day here at home. My husband and I ended up grilling some food, which was very delicious. We ended up sharing a steak for supper, and we had kind of like a Mediterranean salad for the side, so it was very delicious. We ended up watching the first Deadpool movie while we were eating. We had both seen it before when it first came out, but we haven't seen it ever since. So it was actually quite enjoyable. It was a lot of fun to watch. Alright, so now that that is all inked in, I'm just taking my kneaded eraser and I'm just going to erase the pencil marks. So that's it for my doodles page. I'll go ahead and flip over to the current weekly spread. So just taking my black Uniball Signo DX gel pen from the pen loop, then I'm just going to finish filling in the trackers from yesterday, and then I'm also going to fill it in for today so far. So for Sunday, then I did do my night routine and I also took my vitamins. And then for Monday, I did work out this morning. I did my morning routine and then I also woke up between 6 to 7 a.m. So again, for the other three, then I'll go ahead and just leave those to fill in tomorrow, just to confirm that I did do them at the end of the day. Moving on to weight, then I was just 1 pound heavier after waking up and working out. For my mood, then I am feeling pretty good today. Going back to Sunday, then I'm not going to add anything else to this just because we didn't really do anything else. For supper, then I did end up having some steak and salad, like I said. And then for things that we watched, then we watched Deadpool, like I mentioned. And we also watched the sequel, so Deadpool 2, which neither of us have ever seen before. I believe that one came out in 2018, and I have to say I think I do prefer the first one. I felt like the story was written a little bit better and it was easier to follow along throughout the movie, and I feel like it just had a lot more meaning to it. But yeah, that's basically it for Sunday. Now let's go ahead and start filling in stuff for Monday. So for Monday, then I have filming Weekend Bujo, which is what I'm doing right now. We have our Bat Guys appointment at 1 p.m. I need to edit another video that I am currently working on. I have an expected package to arrive today, so we'll see if that does arrive. Something else, I am also currently doing a load of white laundry. In terms of other tasks, I guess I don't really have anything else in mind for today. I would imagine that just working on this journaling video would probably take up most of my free time today outside of work. So I'll go ahead and just leave that list as is. And then I'll move on to my little squares to the right. So for workout today, then I did do some yoga called Below the Belt. And then I will have coffee and creamer, which I am planning on getting right after I film this. So I know for sure I will definitely have that. And then I haven't watched anything yet, so I'll go ahead and leave that blank. But my husband and I were listening to Morgan Wallen this morning while we were working out and getting cleaned up, specifically his Dangerous album. Alright, so that's basically me just catching back up on anything else that we did Sunday night, and then just kind of filling things in for this morning and any plans that I have for the rest of the day. Obviously, things can always change, which I don't hold myself too much accountability to write everything down beforehand, just because I know I'll come right back to it the following day to continue filling it in. I guess that's pretty much it for today, so I will see you guys tomorrow for Tuesday. Good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday morning, Tuesday, August 20th. It's a very gloomy looking morning. I believe that there should be some rain today, so that should be nice for the garden. It has been pretty hot again the past few days, which I don't mind, but I think it'll be nice to just get a little bit of rain in between the heat. So anyway, let's go ahead and open up my bullet journal and get caught up on yesterday and just start filling in information for today. Alright, so I am here on the monthly page, just taking a look at the monthly challenge box. Then I'm actually just going to go ahead and leave that blank. I did end up paying 2 bills yesterday, so I'll just go ahead and leave the 19th blank. And then flipping over to the monthly doodles page, then I'll go ahead and just add a doodle for yesterday, the 19th. So yesterday was a very productive day. I got quite a lot done, which I am very happy about. And I can go into a little bit more detail when we get to the weekly spread, but basically what I'm drawing for my doodles here are a couple of new notebooks that I ended up getting, a few new journals from the Archer and Olive fall collection, which at this point then I would have already uploaded my little haul video of what I got, so if you have not had a chance to check it out, then I will go ahead and link it right here for you. But I really love all of the covers. All of the colors are absolutely up my alley. I just love a fall color palette. I know that there's this thing where you can find what season matches your skin tone and whatnot for like fashion and makeup and whatnot, but I guess the more I think about it, I'm not sure if I necessarily match like a fall color scheme or a fall palette, even though that tends to be like the colors that I like to buy and just love the look of. I don't know if I necessarily match it. If I had to make a guess, I think I might actually look better in like a spring palette, which I also love those colors too. So especially as I've gotten older, I feel like when I was younger, then I was a total tomboy and I just loved punk and emo looking stuff. So I was just really obsessed with black and red and like those very deep like jewel tone colors, which I still love. But as I've gotten older, then I've started embracing a palette that actually complements my skin tone and whatnot. So I've definitely broadened my color palette, but in all reality, it really just depends on what you personally feel like looks good on you and what your personal style is. It honestly doesn't really even matter that much. So there's always exceptions to the rule. So whatever it looks good on you, that's all that matters. All right, just a pretty simple sketch for yesterday. Now I'm just erasing the pencil marks. All right, so that is it for my daily doodle for yesterday, the 19th. Now I'll go ahead and just flip over to the weekly spread and start filling that in. So for my trackers, starting with my habit tracker for yesterday, Monday, then I did do my night routine and I also took my vitamins. And then like I said, I did have to pay a couple of bills, so I will leave the no spending habit blank. And then that's basically it to get caught up for Monday. So I'll go ahead and move on to this morning, which is Tuesday. So I did work out. I did my morning routine and I woke up between 6 to 7. And then again, I will just leave the other 3 blank until tomorrow just to confirm that I did do those. Moving on to weight, then I was just a pound less than the day before. And for mood, then I am also feeling pretty good today, about the same as yesterday. So I will go ahead and add a dot and connect that there. Alright, so for Monday, I ended up doing quite a bit of stuff later in the day, so I will go ahead and just add those. First off, then I did edit journal number 4 and I got that scheduled, so I will just add plus schedule. And then I also filmed, edit, and schedule A&O haul. So my Archer and Olive haul. With that, when I have confirmed that they are scheduled and uploaded, ready to go, then I will go ahead and add them in a couple of other areas. So because my upload schedule is every Tuesday and Friday, then I already had a video scheduled for Tuesday the 20th, which is today. So for the journal number 4 video, then I ended up scheduling that for Friday the 23rd. So in that case, I will go ahead and at the bottom of this bottom left box, I'll just draw a little YouTube play button, and then I will just write a short version of the title. So journal number 4. And then before I move on just yet, then I will go ahead and just write down for yesterday that I also made next week's spread. So with that being said, then I'll flip over and just show you next week. For Tuesday the 27th, then that is where I scheduled my A&O haul. So that's what I do when I schedule a new video, is that I just write it down for whatever day it'll be released. And then one thing I also do is I flip back over to the monthly spread, and then I also add them to my monthly calendar. And the reason why I do this is because sometimes I just like to be able to take a look back at the monthly spread and just see what videos I released and what my schedule was for that month, rather than having to refer back to all of the weekly spreads. But I also like to write them down in the weekly spreads so that it's something that I'm looking at every day, and it just kind of keeps me on schedule basically. So that's why I do that. So here then I'll go ahead and add for the 23rd that it was journal number 4. And then for Tuesday the 27th, then that is the Archer and Olive haul. So now that that's done, I'm just flipping back over to the weekly spread. And then just to finish up for Monday, I also painted my nails. And while I did that, then I played some Terraria just to let the layers dry in between. So when I end up playing a game, then I'll add it to the bottom section of this top right box. So this is just where I will write down what I watched that day and also any games that I played. I also scanned that guy's receipt. Then I did some reorganizing of my stationery. Just a little bit, just to kind of shift a few things around. Nothing major. I also moved our indoor plants outside. I don't think that they've been getting enough sun in our house, and so that's why we ended up moving them out onto the deck. I think that's basically it for things that I did yesterday. I'll just go ahead and finish filling in these boxes here. So for lunch, I ended up just having some nori. For supper, then I had a pork chop and salad. Things that I watched Beauty News, Kelly Marissa, and we watched Everybody Loves Raymond before bed. And the last thing I'm going to add is our daily devotion. So we did do daily devotion 214. And with that, then that's basically it for Monday. Now let's go ahead and move on to Tuesday. Today I'm currently filming a week in my bujo. Tonight I will talk with my sister. So far this morning I've already done a workout, so I will go ahead and add that. I went on the elliptical, and then while I was on the elliptical, then I was listening to an album. I was listening to Fall Out Boy, Take This to Your Grave. After I did my workout and was just kind of doing some other chores or tasks, then I also listened to Josh Turner's new album. I believe it was called This Country Music Thing. So there's that. As far as tasks, then I would like to start filming my September plan with me. Aside from that, I don't really have too many other plans for today. My plan with me videos usually take me quite a while to record, and so I would imagine that that would take up a lot of my free time today. Other things that I've already done, however, for this morning, then I made our grocery list and I did some journaling. So yeah, I think that is pretty much it for today right now. So I'll just come back again tomorrow just to finish things up. If I ended up adding anything else, obviously I will eat today and most likely watch something. We'll do our daily devotion before supper and I'll finish up my habits. So that's basically it for Tuesday. Now I do have just a couple of plans and chores that I decided that will happen this week. So let me go ahead and just walk you through what I do for that. So for Wednesday, then I decided that I will need to do a load of laundry. Typically for that, then I kind of just wait until a couple days before when I realize that it is starting to fill up, then I'll go ahead and just plan to do it within the next day or two. So I'm starting to notice that it's getting a little full, so I'll go ahead and plan to do a load tomorrow. And then also for Friday, sounds like my husband and I will possibly go camping for date night, which that will be a lot of fun. I have not gone camping in a very long time, so I think that'll be a lot of fun. And then for Saturday, then we have plans with the in-laws to go out on the pontoon again, which that will be a lot of fun, and possibly stop somewhere to get some supper. So that'll be very nice. But that was basically all that I wanted to add for the rest of the week. So yeah, that's basically it. If it wasn't already obvious by now, then I basically just fill this in very slowly throughout the week, just taking it day by day. I guess the way that I rationalize it in my mind is that I don't like to put a lot of pressure and a lot of things on my plate ahead of time. It makes me feel better just knowing that I have an open time for whatever I want to do. And typically I try to do whatever is most productive anyway, but I don't like just having a list of things that I need to get done for that day. I do find that helpful sometimes, but on a day-to-day basis, I don't find that very helpful. I don't find it very productive just because when I know ahead of time that there are a bunch of things that I need to do, then it just stresses me out more, and it just discourages me from wanting to do any of it. However, just kind of leaving it open and in the air, but just subconsciously knowing that I have to do it, I'm more likely to do it that way rather than having it written in stone ahead of time. And that way, when I come back the following day, then I am able to happily write down that I accomplished more than what I already had written down. I don't know if that makes any sense. It probably doesn't, but that's just kind of the way that my mind thinks of it, just because for a while I was still discovering my groove in bullet journaling, that was what I did, where I would just write down a whole list of things to do for every single day and every single week, to the point where it just became way too overwhelming and I just couldn't keep up with it. But over time, I realized that typically when I have free time, I'm looking for something productive to do anyway. So I think it's also just trusting myself and having faith in myself that I'll do something good with my time, and that way I'm just able to come back at a later time and log it down in my bullet journal, and that way I can see that I've had a more productive day than I thought I would going into it, if that makes sense. So anyway, kind of a long-winded explanation of why I use my bullet journal the way that I do, but maybe if that resonates with you or sounds like something that you're currently experiencing, maybe try giving this method a try. Anyway, sorry about this very random rant on a Tuesday morning, but anyway, that's basically it. That's basically all that I'm going to do for today. I hope that you guys found this little rant or segment helpful, so I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday morning, August 21st. You may notice that the lighting is a little bit different today. We are currently going through a power outage, so I am basically just relying on a couple of battery-operated fairy lights as well as natural lighting. Hopefully you guys do not mind that it's just slightly dimmer in today's footage, so without further ado, let's go ahead and open my bullet journal up so that we can finish up filling out yesterday and start filling out for today. Alright, so starting with the monthly spread, then I will go ahead and fill out my monthly challenge box here. I did not spend yesterday for the 20th, so I will go ahead and just check off that box. Alright, so that is basically all that I will do for this page, and I'll go ahead and flip over to the doodles page now. Alright, so for yesterday then I ended up filming my September Plan With Me video, which I'm very pleased with how the cover page turned out as well as the doodles page. I think it's possibly one of my favorite spreads that I've done in quite a while. I think the color scheme just turned out very beautiful, and I've always been such a huge fan of high contrast pieces of art, so I think that this one turned out quite well. And I am very excited to start using September. And if I sound a little stuffed up and nasally, then I am having some pretty severe allergies this morning. I woke up with basically just bloodshot eyes, and they have been very irritated this morning, so I've just been trying to keep up with some cold compresses and use some moisturizing eye drops just to kind of help with any irritation and just try and provide any sort of relief for them. And then typically when I wake up, then I usually sound a little groggy and a little stuffed up. I think just with the nature of the allergies, then that just affects my nose a lot. Alright, so that's just going to be my doodle for Tuesday the 20th. I'll go ahead and just erase the pencil markings. And now that the doodle is done, then I'll go ahead and just flip over to the current weekly spread. So to finish up yesterday, then I did do my night routine. I also took my vitamins and I did not spend money. And then for today, then I actually pretty much just woke up. So I have not done basically anything. And especially with the power being out, then I haven't had a chance to really do anything. So I will go ahead and just leave the habits and the weight blank for now. For my mood, I will adjust it because yesterday I was having some pretty intense mood swings, I'd say. This morning, then I am just feeling fine. And then to finish up Tuesday, then let's see. I did film my September plan with me, made the grocery list, I journaled, talked with my sister. I also made a cucumber salad, and then I worked on my fashion book elliptical, and then I also ended up doing some jumping jacks later in the day. For lunch, then I ended up having just some ham and cheese, and then for supper, I had a little spare rib and that cucumber salad. For things that I watched, I ended up watching some Call Me Kevin, Jacksepticeye, Jen Phelps, and Emily Noel. Typically when I set up my monthly spreads, then I like to just have some YouTube videos playing in the background. So I was watching a lot of their videos. I did not play any games yesterday, and I did not listen to any more music, but we did do our daily devotion, and that would be 2:15. In terms of today, then I would like to do some sort of workout. I haven't quite decided yet, so I will go ahead and just leave that blank and catch back up on it tomorrow. But today, then I would like to start editing my September plan with me. With that, as well as doing laundry and also having game night tonight, I think that may be all that I will have time for today during my free time when I'm not working. Alright, so that is basically it for catching back up on yesterday and just kind of leaving today up in the air for now, but I will definitely try and get some stuff done so that I can come back tomorrow and actually fill it in. It's very satisfying to be able to come back at a later time and actually finish filling in these boxes. So I will be looking forward to that because I really did not add very much for today. So yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow. Good morning, everyone. Today is Thursday, August 22nd. It's getting to be around mid-morning, so I am finding some time now to fill in my bullet journal. So I will go ahead and just open this up and we'll get to filling everything in. Alright, so I don't have my overhead light on today just because it's a very beautiful and sunny morning so far, so I figured I would just open up the curtains and have it be the natural light similar to yesterday, but we did have another short power outage this morning, but thankfully it was only for like a split second basically, and then it just came right back, so that was very good. But anyway, moving on to the bullet journal, I'll go ahead and just mark off my monthly challenge box down here. I did not spend money yesterday, the 21st, so I will go ahead and just mark that off. So that's it for the monthly page, and I'll go ahead and flip over to the doodles. So for yesterday's doodle, I'm basically just drawing in me playing games with my sister and brother-in-law. Every Wednesday night then we do a little game night where we just play Terraria together. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with that game, but it's just an online game. It's similar to the game Minecraft, but I feel like this one is less scary just because it's not in first person. So I don't mind playing this one. And it's even better when you get to play with other people. So I definitely look forward to playing with them every week. And so it's usually like the highlight of my day, really. And so that's why if you look at last week's, then it's also when we were playing Terraria. So yeah, it's been so much fun. We've been doing this for about like a month and a half at this point. And during 2020, so like during the pandemic then, we were also doing like a game night once a week. And we were also playing Terraria. So this isn't the first time that we've had like weekly game nights or anything, but I don't exactly remember why we stopped having game night the first time around back in 2020. Maybe we just ended up getting bored of it and just moved on to other things. That's probably why we stopped playing it. It's just really nice to sit down and play games for a couple of hours and just decompress and like take your mind off of other things going on in your life. It's been so much fun and I've been enjoying it a lot. It's definitely something that I look forward to every week, and I'm already really looking forward to next Wednesday when we can play again, because yesterday we ended up making so much progress in it, which was so exciting, and I just didn't even want to log off. We ended up staying up until basically midnight here. So here in the Midwest, then it was midnight for me, but since they live on the West Coast, then it was 10 o'clock there, so not as late. While I'm on the subject of talking about Terraria, then I'm actually just going to go ahead and add it to my favorites again. I think it's been on my monthly favorites list for like the past 2 or 3 months, but I'm just not getting sick of it. And it's just been such a highlight in my life recently. And the thing is, my sister introduced me to Terraria a long time ago. I believe I was probably still in like middle school or high school. Back then we used to play together on there. Terraria has always kind of been like a comfort game for me, where I can go like years without playing it, but then after a certain amount of time, then I'm like very inspired and wanting to play it again. So it's definitely one of my favorite games. I don't consider myself to be a gamer by any means, or I don't play very many games, but when I do find a game that I like, then I kind of just obsess over it and only want to play that game. Other examples would be like The Sims. I used to be a really big Sims fan, but not so much lately, just because there's been so many controversies with their game packs and everything's just been broken lately, specifically with The Sims 4. So I just haven't even bothered playing The Sims 4 for like a year now. And then also Rock Band, which I have right here. I've just always loved that game since I was basically like a preteen, so that's always been a favorite of mine as well, which my husband and I have been playing more of that lately, which has been so much fun. But yeah, I don't really play too many games, but the ones that I do end up playing, then I am just very satisfied playing only that game. So anyway, kind of a rambly morning, but I usually feel like I don't really know what to talk about in videos like this, and so I guess maybe I can just start talking about other stuff about my life, in case any of you guys are curious. But yeah, hopefully you found that interesting, I guess. I don't really know what else to say about it, so yeah, we'll go ahead and just flip over to the weekly spread now. Just like before, I'm just going to go through my habits over here on the left-hand side and just start filling those things out for yesterday as well as this morning. So for yesterday, then I ended up not filling anything out for my habits because I was having a late morning, and so I didn't really want to fill anything in until I actually did that stuff. So I did end up working out. I did my morning routine, my night routine. I took my vitamins. I did not spend, but then I also did not wake up between 6 to 7, so I will go ahead and leave that one blank. For my weight, then I believe I was at 158, and then for my mood, then yeah, I was just fine. Later at night when we were having game night, then I was in a much better mood. For this morning, then I'm feeling pretty good. I'm looking forward to the work week being over, and I'm looking forward to my husband coming back home. Now I'll go ahead and just move on to finishing up Wednesday and starting my Thursday box. So for Wednesday, just taking a look at what I already had written down. As you would have already seen by now, I did film my weekend bujo yesterday. We also had a bill that was due, so I believe that should be coming out of our account either today or tomorrow. And then my husband left for his meeting in the afternoon, so I got to see him briefly for his lunch before he left. I did some laundry, and then I also did some editing of my September Plan With Me video, and I had game night with my sister and brother-in-law. So just the additional things that I would add from yesterday was that I reorganized my purse, and then I also harvested some herbs from our garden, and with that then I was able to make some more cucumber salad. And then lastly, for tasks, then I ended up emptying the litter genie. So that was it in terms of tasks. Now I'll go ahead and add my workout. So I lifted weights yesterday. And then for food, then I actually only had the one meal. So I had a pork chop and the salad. And then next, for things that I watched, sorry, Homer decided to come and join us, so if you hear some purring, then that's why. Anyway, moving on to things that I watched. So I'm gonna try and write over him right here. I ended up watching some Call Me Kevin while I was eating. And then I watched Sydney Watson as well as Lauren Chen. And then because we did play Terraria last night, I'll go ahead and just draw the little controller icon and write Terraria. Homer! Alright, sorry, I'm back now. I actually had to go play with the cats for a little bit. They were wanting some attention, so I went to go play with them. Hopefully they're happy with that. Anyway, so I was adding Terraria. So I'll go ahead and finish that. And I didn't do anything else work related, and then I also did not listen to music, and we didn't get a chance to do our daily devotion. So I will go ahead and just leave these two boxes as is. So that was it for Wednesday. And then moving on to Thursday, obviously I'm filming the weekend my bujo today. We have another bill coming out, and my husband will be coming home this evening from his meeting. Other things that I want to add would be that I am currently slow cooking some chicken for supper, and then I will also continue editing my September Plan With Me. Aside from work, then that's pretty much all that I would have time for to do today, so I am pretty much just gonna leave that as is. And then if I end up doing anything else today, then I will go ahead and add it tomorrow. But moving on, then this morning I lifted some more weights, just doing some different lifts and whatnot. And then I am currently having some coffee and cream. And then I have not had anything else today, but I did watch a Lauren Chen video while I was lifting weights, so I will add that to the watch list. And then I did not listen to anything this morning, and I believe we will have time to do a daily devotion later, so just to make sure that we actually do it, I'll just leave it blank, and if we do it, then I'll just come back and fill it in tomorrow. So yeah, that's basically it for finishing up yesterday, Wednesday, and then what I've got going on so far today for Thursday. So yeah, I will go ahead and talk to you guys again tomorrow. Good morning, everyone. Today is Friday, August 23rd, and it is a pretty gloomy looking day. I'm not sure if it's exactly supposed to rain today or if it's just going to be cloudy, but I do have my overhead light on today just to switch things up a little bit. Without further ado, then let's go ahead and crack this thing open. As per usual, then I have my monthly spread flipped open, and then I will go ahead and just mark off my monthly challenge box because I did not spend yesterday. I will check that off. And then I will go ahead and flip over to my doodles page. So yesterday I was pretty excited because my husband ended up coming home from his meeting, so I missed him a lot, and I was very excited and looking forward to seeing him again and talking to him. So that is what I will be drawing today for yesterday. So they're doing a lot of construction outside right now. I'm sorry if you guys do end up hearing some of that. I'm hoping that they will be done with that very soon. It's been going on for, I feel like, a couple of months now, so it'll be nice to finally have a little bit of peace and quiet again out here. So now that that is roughly sketched out, then I will go ahead and just ink it in with my Sakura Pigma Micron. Alright, so now that that is all done, then I'll just flip on over to the weekly spread. And then I will go ahead and finish up my trackers from yesterday. So I did work out, I did my morning routine, my night routine, took my vitamins, and did not spend. But I did not wake up between 6 to 7. For my weight, then I was a little heavier, just slightly. And then for my mood, then yeah, I would say that I had a pretty good day. I ended up feeling a lot happier later when my husband got back home. And then in terms of today, then I did work out, did my morning routine, and I did wake up between 6 to 7. And then in terms of my weight, then just back down a little bit. And my mood this morning, then I'm feeling okay. Turns out that I have a very sudden meeting this morning that I actually have to get ready for in a little bit, so not looking forward to that. But moving on to finishing up yesterday, then I did finish editing my September plan with me, and I also got that scheduled. Like how I did earlier in the week, then I'll go ahead and just flip over to the next weekly spread, and then for the day Friday, then I'll go ahead and just add that to the bottom of my work box. So I'll just add September plan with me. And now I'll flip back over to the monthly spread and just add it to the 30th as well. So same thing, just September plan with me. So yeah, now I have all of my videos ready and scheduled for the month of August, which is just crazy to think about. I feel like this month just really flew by. Then I spent most of my day working on that video. I really didn't do too much else. For food, I ended up eating half a spare rib and some veggies. And then in terms of things that I watched, I believe I just watched more Call Me Kevin videos. And then I also ended up playing a little game on the Switch while I was waiting for my husband to get home called Unpacking. So I have played this game before, and I finished it a couple of times already last year, but I haven't played it again since last year, so I figured I would just pick it back up and play it a little bit more while I was waiting for him, because I didn't really know what else to do. So that was fun to revisit that. In terms of music, I don't think I listened to anything yesterday, but we did do our daily devotion. So that would be 2:17. Oh, and after he got home, then we did end up watching a Rick Beato video. Yeah, I think after that, then we ended up just watching like some various music-related videos. So I guess I'll just leave it at that for Thursday. And then moving on to today, then I am actually going to cross out camping. We're not going to be camping tonight. We'll actually go tomorrow night, just because it's kind of been a busy couple of days, and so we haven't really had a chance to plan and pack our camping trip. Even though it's not that far away, I think it would just be nice to give it a little bit more time and not have to try and fit it in between our work schedules and whatnot. So today we'll just have a normal date night here at home. I'm currently filming my weekend bujo, and as far as the rest of today, I really don't have too many plans. Fridays, then I usually prefer to just kind of take it easy before we end up having like busy weekend plans, and also just kind of decompressing from the work week. So I don't typically plan very much for Fridays. I do anticipate that I will finally have some time to actually do some journaling, which I'm looking forward to. And then in terms of workout, then I did go on the elliptical this morning, and I will be having my coffee and cream in a little bit here. While I was on the elliptical, then I just did something a little easier and lighter for the day, and I just watched a Call Me Kevin video while I was on there. I guess the only other thing that I'll add is that I have this meeting at 10:30. And then I guess in terms of notes, then I can kind of prepare kind of like a little packing list for our camping trip. We're only going to be camping for one night, so we obviously need to bring our tent. We'll bring a couple of coolers. We'll most likely get some ice on our way there and bring our water bottles.
I think we can also bring some snacks. We can pack some liquid IV. It's supposed to be pretty warm this weekend too, so I don't expect to bring too many clothes, but I'll just bring like one of each, perhaps. Maybe like just one pair of pajama shorts, one pair of leggings. I'll probably just bring one more t-shirt, one sweater, one pair of socks, and a pair of sneakers. Maybe a couple of pillows, maybe like two pillows and two blankets. I think I might bring my journal in case I just want to write some things down and possibly doodle something while I'm out there. I'll also bring my Bluetooth speaker. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So that's just kind of a rough packing list for camping, but if I end up thinking about anything, then I will come back to it before we leave tomorrow, or depending on how tomorrow works out, then I'll come back to it and just reference it or update it if needed. So yeah, I just gotta go get ready for my meeting now, so hopefully it wasn't too rushed, but I will see you guys tomorrow.
Good morning, everyone. It is currently Saturday, August 24th. I am back with the natural lighting just because it is a very beautiful morning. And here's Dion walking around my desk. Please don't mind him. Anyway, let's go ahead and open this thing up and start filling out for today and finishing up yesterday. Alright, so starting with the monthly spread, then as per usual, I am just going to fill out my monthly challenge just because I did not spend yesterday, so I will go ahead and check off the 23rd. Now that that's done, I'll just flip right on over to the doodles page and I'll go ahead and just sketch in a doodle for yesterday. So yesterday was a very good day. I was just very relieved to be done with the work week, and I was also just looking forward to being able to spend some quality time with my husband for our date night. So now that that's been sketched out, I'll just go in and ink it in with my fine liner. So yesterday for date night, then my husband and I just went on a little drive and we went up to the cemetery just to pay our respects to our loved one. We brought some fresh roses from our garden, which was very nice. It's kind of been a tradition of ours to do now that we have our own rose bushes. So I've been really enjoying that. We just went and read our daily devotion and our daily prayer out there. So it was a very beautiful evening. The sun was just setting right over the lake. Definitely feels like autumn is rapidly approaching. Now I'll just flip over to the weekly spread, and then I will finish the trackers from yesterday and then just update it with anything from today so far. Alright, so for yesterday, then I did do my night routine. I took my vitamins and I also did not spend. This morning, then I did not work out and I don't plan to. I will do my morning routine after I get cleaned up. I did not wake up between 6 to 7. That is all I'm going to fill out right now for the habits. For my weight, I typically like to do this before I get showered and typically before I've had anything to eat or drink. I'll go ahead and finish filling that in tomorrow so that I can actually weigh myself before I mark anything down. And then in terms of my mood, then I definitely felt better in the evening and I'm feeling pretty good this morning. I'm really looking forward to the plans for today. So before I get into today's plans, I'll go ahead and just finish catching up on Friday. I did do a little bit of journaling for date night, then we ended up going to the cemetery. And then when we came back, then we just hung out with Homer and Dion. And then my husband was also just telling me about the resort that he stayed at a few days ago for his meeting for work, which just sounded very beautiful. But yeah, it was a very lovely night, just lovely quality time with my husband and our 2 cats. Just did some playing with them and just had some nice conversations while we listened to music. For lunch then I did end up having some nori. And then for supper, then we had the slow-cooked chicken. In terms of other things that I watched, then I did watch some Jacksepticeye videos. And then I actually did end up playing games with my sister and brother-in-law again. We ended up playing some more Terraria, so that was a lot of fun. And in terms of music, then we did listen to Sturgill Simpson, his new album Passage du Dessert. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but I highly recommend it. It's such a beautiful album. I also believe it's under the name Johnny Blue Skies, which I think is like his new stage name. And then we also listened to Rush, some Ween, and then we also did our daily devotion. And then that is it for Friday, and then I'll go ahead and start filling in information for today. So for today, then I am filming my week in Bujo. We will go on the pontoon, we will go camping, and so far this morning I've done some packing. I'll also prep items for Homer and Dion, and then I also watered the plants with Miracle Grow. I also watered the indoor plants. And then I also brought Homer and Dion outside on their harnesses and leashes, which for the most part they were really good. I think Dion got tired of it pretty quickly. He didn't enjoy being on the harness and leash, so I think he just wanted to come back in after a while, which I brought him back inside. But Homer was very good. He just laid in the grass and the sun, which was very adorable. He did a little bit of exploring, but just hung out and pretty much just watched me water everything. But in terms of other stuff for today, then I really don't have too much planned. We are basically just going to load up the car and then go set up our tent at the campsite, and then we'll get picked up on the pontoon and just go for a little boat ride out on the lake, which I'm very looking forward to. Today is supposed to be in the mid 80s and sunny. It's been a little bit breezy out already, which is just a very beautiful and perfect day. So far I've been having some coffee and cream, and that's really all that I've done so far today. I haven't watched anything, haven't listened to anything or read anything, so I will just go ahead and leave it at that, I suppose. I will return tomorrow to finish up Saturday and wrap up this video. I honestly can't believe that it's already been a full week of doing this. It just flew by. So yeah, I'll go ahead and talk to you guys again tomorrow just to kind of wrap up the video and wrap things up in my bullet journal. So see you guys then. Good morning, everyone. It is currently Sunday, August 25th. We just got back home from our little camping trip, so I'm just a little tired. So excuse my voice if I'm sounding a little groggy, but we have finally made it to the last day of the week in my bullet journal. It's just the final stretch of this video. I really hope that you guys have enjoyed it so far, and I hope that you found this video helpful and interesting as well. For me personally, I guess I'm not really sure if this really is interesting to anyone, just because it's just kind of a routine for me now, and it's nothing too special in my opinion, but it's just something that I do every day, and I hope that perhaps it maybe gave you some ideas on how you want to possibly restructure your bullet journaling process, or perhaps start trying something new if something inspired you in this video. So without further ado, then let's just go ahead and run through yesterday as well as so far this morning. So for yesterday, the 24th, then we did end up spending. We went out to eat with the in-laws, so I will go ahead and leave that one blank, but I don't think I am going to spend any money today because I will just be here at home. And then flipping on over to the doodles page, then I'll go ahead and sketch out a doodle for yesterday. So yesterday was the first time in a very long time that I've gone camping. There was a weekend in 2018 where my husband and I went camping, but it was more for just like an outdoor festival, so it wasn't actually camping by any means. We just rented like a little campground area to set up a tent, so that way we were just able to sleep at the festival and
not have to worry about parking and driving home and then coming back the next day. I wouldn't really consider that camping by any means. It was basically we just needed a place to sleep. Alright, so before I turn the page, then I will go ahead and just add to my favorites camping, just because that definitely was a favorite activity of mine this month. So moving on to the weekly spread, then I will just go ahead and finish up the trackers from yesterday. I did not do a night routine or take my vitamins because I forgot to bring those. We also spent money, so I will not check that off. And then I did not wake up from 6 to 7, so I basically already had everything that I needed for the habits. For the weight, then I was pretty much around the usual, and then for my mood, then I already marked off that I was very happy that day, and I remained happy the entire day, so I will not change that. And then moving on to just finish up Saturday. So I filmed the Week in Bujo section, and then we went on the pontoon, went camping, packed items, prepped items for cats, watered the garden, watered the indoor plants with Miracle-Gro. I brought my 2 cats outside, so set up campsite, pick up firewood and ice, and we also stopped for gas, so get gas. Yeah, so that was basically it for yesterday. And then in terms of things that we ate, then we ended up having like a breakfast scramble before we left, and then for supper, then I ended up just having a steak with veggies and wild rice. So that was it for food. I did not watch anything that day, didn't do anything work related. In terms of music, then we listened to a variety of things. Sturgill Simpson, Josh Turner, Ween, Chill Mix, Warren Zevon. I think that may have been it. And then we ended up not doing a daily devotion just because we didn't get a chance to do that before we left. So that's basically it for Saturday. Alright, so the last thing to do to finish off this week would be to just add a little painting for this credit box. Alright, so that was a week in my bullet journal. Like I said, I really hope that you found this interesting and found it helpful if you're looking for new things to incorporate in your bullet journal, or just a new layout, a new setup that you want to start trying. Then I hope that this gives you a little bit of insight on how I use my bullet journal, and perhaps you can find a way to adopt any part of the process into your current bullet journaling process. Let me know if you have any further questions. Leave them down below in the comments and I will definitely get back to you on those. I hope that being able to see my process over the span of a week gave you a better insight on how I bullet journal in general. This has basically been my process for the past year and a half, just with a couple of little tweaks here and there, but for the most part, it's remained very consistent, just the same weekly layout. In my personal opinion, I think it's just very streamlined, very efficient and effective. There really aren't too many opportunities to make a mistake with this layout, in my opinion. It's all just very consistent. It's basically the same every week, and I feel like once you understand the general guideline on how to use it, then it comes very naturally after some repetition. I guess I don't really know what else to say about it other than I hope that you enjoyed the video. Again, if you have any questions that weren't addressed in the video, or if you have any future video suggestions on what I can do with my bullet journal, then please leave them down below. I love hearing from you guys. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.